You wake up to a blaring alarm, drag yourself out of bed, and sit in bumper-to-bumper traffic just to spend 8 hours taking orders from a manager. You do this 5 days a week, assuming that a rigid hierarchy and someone breathing down your neck are unavoidable facts of life. But right now, somewhere in northern Tanzania, a Hadza Man is peacefully napping in the shade, completely done with his work for the day. The Hadza live exactly how human beings lived for hundreds of thousands of years, entirely free of central authority. This timeline visualizes our 300,000-year human history, plotting out exactly how long we've been working. That microscopic sliver at the very end represents the modern corporate era. For 99.9% of our existence, the concept of a boss did not exist. Before we explore how your ancestors aggressively prevented anyone from taking power, take a second to exercise your own free will. Hit the subscribe button. If you don't, I'm legally required to assume you love writing weekly status reports and actively want to be micromanaged in a cubicle until the end of time. Assert your dominance over the algorithm, because the daily corporate grind is a massive biological and evolutionary mismatch. Let's step out of the office and walk into the world your brain was built for. Ancient humans lived in small, tight-knit bands of about 25 to 30 people, hunting, gathering, and surviving together. This bar chart compares a modern standard schedule with an ancient one. Our ancestors worked roughly 15 hours a week doing every single chore required to keep themselves alive. In an office setting, most of us hit that 15-hour threshold by Tuesday afternoon. As the chart shifts into a monthly calendar view, notice what is missing entirely. They did not pay rent. They didn't have weekends because almost every day functioned as a weekend. And most importantly, they didn't answer to anyone above them. Vast amounts of free time and zero hierarchy were the default biological operating conditions for early humans. It was the standard setting for our species. If someone in an ancient camp tried to act like a manager, the tribe didn't politely ignore them. They actively destroyed that person's ego. The entire operating system of the camp was engineered to maintain perfect equality, relying heavily on targeted conversation. In 1969, an anthropologist named Richard Lee experienced this social leveling firsthand. He had been living with the Hung Bushmen of the Kalahari Desert for years, studying their dynamics. For Christmas, Lee decided to buy the biggest, fattest ox he could find as a gift for the camp. Instead of thanking him, the Hung spent weeks making fun of it. They told him it was skinny, the meat would be terrible, and he wasted everyone's time. This correlation graph illustrates a core anthropological rule called mocking the kill. The larger the animal a hunter brings home, the harder the camp mocks them. It is a specific tool designed to keep the best hunters from thinking they are superior to anyone else. We build prisons to keep people in line, but ancient humans relied on relentless sarcasm to keep each other humble. Equality was a strictly engineered feature of their daily lives. In the modern corporate world, if you despise your boss, you still have to sit in a rigid office grid. You awkwardly pass them in the hall, trapped by your salary and your mortgage. Ancient humans employed a highly effective conflict resolution strategy called voting with your feet. Because you owned almost nothing, you could pack everything you had in 15 minutes and walk to the next camp. If you couldn't stand someone, you went somewhere else for a few weeks until the heat passed and the drama died down. Their lifestyle was explicitly designed to guarantee that no individual was ever permanently trapped under the authority of someone they hated. Now, their world was not a perfect utopia. The elements were harsh, diseases were rampant, and infant mortality was a heavy reality. Yet anthropologists still refer to early humans as the original affluent society. They had immense wealth, but they measured it strictly in free time, not material goods. We made an incredible trade to get where we are today. We gave up the wilderness in exchange for vaccines, antibiotics, indoor plumbing, and drastically longer lifespans. But we also accepted hidden systemic costs. We invented agriculture, labor that someone else owns, monthly bills, and middle management. You inherited the exact same body and nervous system as those ancient people sitting around the fire. Underneath the suit, the tie, and the daily commute, you still have a biological need for sun, sleep, and vast amounts of time spent doing genuinely nothing. We've constructed a modern world that requires us to ignore our basic biology. operating within a professional system that owns our time and regulates our movements.